Howdy readers, I'm Jason. This is Chapter and Verse, and for a few weeks now I have been kind of cooking up a video in my head that would be a kind of close look at my favorite sentence in literature. It would essentially be a kind of breaking down of that sentence and a discussion of what it is that I love so much about that sentence. Now, the sentence itself is from Virginia Woolf's To the Lighthouse, her novel To the Lighthouse, which I read 11 years ago. I don't remember in what context the sentence sits. I don't remember where in the book the sentence falls. I have it because when I read the book, I keep a commonplace book, which some of you know. And for those of you who don't know what a commonplace book is, it's essentially a journal of your favorite passages that you come across in your reading, right? Things that strike you for their beauty, for their wisdom, for their strangeness. And I've been keeping a commonplace book for a very long time now. And so that's how I have this sentence, right? I don't even own a copy of the Virginia Woolf book, which is strange, I suppose, and maybe something that needs to be remedied next year, But anyway, so that's how I have the sentence right now. And it's the sentence that I revisit a lot, that I go back to and reread a lot and think about a lot. So like I said, I'm not sure in what context the sentence sits. I'm not sure where in the book it falls. I'm not even really sure what the sentence is trying to communicate, if I'm being honest. I love it for its bracing musicality, achieved primarily through alliteration, consonance, and assonance. Alliteration being the repetition of consonants at the beginning of words. Consonance, consonance, being the repetition of like consonant sounds within words, in the middle of words. And then assonance, of course, being the repetition of similar vowel sounds within words. These three poetic devices work together in a sentence to make it almost feel incantatory, right? It almost feels spellbinding in the sense of literally fixing the reader with an enchantment. And the result is that the sentence comes to feel like a hermetically sealed vision or dream, in much the same way that those three poetic devices, alliteration, consonance, and assonance, work together to amplify the spellbinding effect of my favorite speech from Shakespeare, which is from Shakespeare's The Tempest. Listen for that repetition of consonants at the beginning of words, embedded within words, and the repetition of vowel sounds, and just how it kind of pulls you through the speech. Ye elves of hills, brooks, standing lakes, and groves, and ye that on the sands with printless foot do chase the ebbing Neptune, and do fly him when he comes back. You demi-puppets that by moonshine do the green sour ringlets make, whereof the yew not bites, and you whose pastime is to make midnight mushrumps that rejoice to hear the solemn curfew. By whose aid, weak masters though ye be, I have bedimmed the noontide sun, called forth the mutinous winds, and twixt the green sea and the azured vault set roaring war. To the dread rattling thunder have I given fire, and rifted Jove's stout oak with his own bolt. The strong-based promontory have I made shake, and by the spurs plucked up the pine and cedar. Graves at my command have waked their sleepers, oped and led him forth by my so potent art. But this rough magic I here abjure, and when I have required some heavenly music, which even now I do, to work mine end upon their senses that this airy charm is for, I'll break my staff, bury it certain fathoms in the earth, and deeper than did ever plummet sound, I'll drown my book. The poetic devices work to draw us through the speech, right? Linearly, musically, like notes and measures. So, let's take a look now at this favorite sentence of mine from Virginia Woolf's To the Lighthouse. All right, so bear with me here. I've never done something like this before, and it took me a couple of weeks actually to figure out how to do it. So I'm going to use my stylus here in this little program on, or this app rather, on my iPad, And we're just going to go through and we're going to mark or denote all of those instances of alliteration and consonance and assonance, just so we can literally see it broken down here on the page, so to speak. Okay, so we've got autumn and R, and then trees and take. And actually autumn, R, and on, that O works with those as well. And then, so you take tattered, okay, the T and the T, and then flesh, that's actually FL and FL with the flags here. And then kindling, the IN, kindling in, okay. And the double O in gloom, and the double O in cool, and then C, 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 and then we've got the G of gloom and the G of gold. And then D, describe death. Okay. In battle. And bones. And B and bleach. B and burn. Actually, the A and far and the A and away are similar enough here. And then here at the end, one of my favorite things is how we have in, DN, and then the AN at the end of Indian, and then the AN in sans. If you read that just those three words together, in Indian sans, it's almost like the center word, Indian, is a compression of the words bookending it, which I just think is just absolutely beautiful. And the thing is, it's gorgeous on the page as well when you're reading it, but it's so gorgeous when you hear it. These devices, right, alliteration, consonance, and assonance, they're so important for so many reasons, right? One of the reasons that we see them in Shakespeare so often is that they aid in memory. And it was important for these actors to be able to recall their lines, et cetera, et cetera. And there's something about the repetition of sounds like that that makes it easier to remember the text. So much so that I actually am conscious of often, not always, but I'm often conscious of particularly alliteration when I write radio commercials, which is what I do for a living. Because I want the listeners, subconsciously, I want the listeners to remember what they're hearing. Yeah, so there's all the little hash marks, right? The ones above the lines are the consonant sounds, and then the little marks below, directly below the words, indicate the vowels, the repetition of those vowel sounds. And I mean, there could be even stuff in here that I'm missing. I haven't done this exercise in a long time. I used to do this very thing with my students. I would put this sentence up on the board, and we would just walk our way through it and kind of break it down musically like this. So that is my favorite sentence in all of literature, or rather all of the literature that I have read, and it is from To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf. And I suppose we'll end now with a reading of this sentence. The autumn trees, ravaged as they are, take on the flesh of tattered flags, kindling in the gloom of cool cathedral caves, where gold letters on marble pages describe death in battle and how bones bleach and burn far away in Indian sands. I'll see you guys this weekend for ShakeTube.